Lucky Lefty Podcast, Honora Boys. We are in the building. We are brought to you today by Honora Whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. And you better believe if you drink after a Notre Dame win, we want you to make sure you drink
responsibly.
Let's get it left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am Shaun Davis, SD2 Mics. That dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE. Courtesy of Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Tap in with us each and every day. 2 new episodes today. 1 drops tomorrow morning, right around 6 a.m. And then we are presented by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Notre Dame, of course, covered that 9.5 they got against USC right now at plus 2,000. Jeremiah Love to win the Heisman right now at plus.
You hear that? You hear that? That's the garbage can taking USC out in the trash right now. I had to put USC on the curb real quick, and now the trash can's picking them up. That's
now,
right. That's right.
Notre Dame has better odds to win the national championship than Jeremiah Love has to win the Heisman right now. Notre Dame is at plus 1,200 to win the national championship. Jeremiah Love is at plus 2,000 to win the Heisman. That and much more you can find at FanDuel.com or simply by downloading the FanDuel app. Thank you for joining us, everyone, today. As Lev put out on social media, today is all about CJ Carr, because we truly believe that after leaving a bunch of points on the field the last 3 weeks, the bye week couldn't have come at a better time for this Notre Dame offense and for CJ Carr. And once they get back, they're going to hit the ground rolling. We truly believe that because there are some small things that are very fixable that's going to allow those things to happen. And we're going to go to the film to show you why CJ Carr is really that close to cleaning up some technical things to taking off in the second half of this season. And we think he's going to do that. And then we're going to look at the short yardage. This is all about you today. Give a GTB question, put it in. Super chat about anything you see on film, anything you don't understand that MALIK is explaining, put it in super chat form, put it in the GTB. We're going to make sure we answer your questions because this week is really about digging in and dissecting where Notre Dame is as they sit with a 5-2 record going into the bye week, getting ready to go up the Chestnut Hill to face off against the Boston College Eagles, who just got spanked by Connecticut. So I think they're going to eclipse the spreads they had against Boise State and what they had the week after that against North Carolina State. I think respectively that was 20.5 and 21.5 in those games, if I can remember correctly over at FanDuel. I think this Boston College spread might end up being close to 24.5 when it jumps off left. That's how bad this Boston College team is.
35-point victory, I'm calling it.
you putting the 35 out there like that?
35-point victory.
35 point. First of all, before we jump into the film, give me your big picture thoughts on the offense and CJ Carr as they sit at 5-2.
Outside of cleaning up little things, man, it's just a challenge that you have to give your offense as to raise the bar, expectation level of executing and winning on the scoreboard isn't reflective of how progressing your offense is and how they're evolving. You're winning by 14, 18, 10, double-digit leads and stuff. That's great as a team win, but offensively, we've held, like you said, back in a sense of playing a complete game where we're not leaving the amount of points we're leaving. I understand we leave a field goal out there, maybe an opportunity on the turnover we miss, but we're leaving double-digit points, like walk-in touchdown points on the field, and that's the unacceptable piece. Because when you do play a tougher team, now there's only like 5 or 6 teams that are tougher, if not the same level as, but in the playoffs, you'll run across it. So you need to be executing on those. But other than that, I mean, we're too good in spots right now, and that's just better than most of the country.
Yeah, I agree with that totally, man. I think this offense to this point has exceeded expectations. I don't think people really knew we had high hopes, and then the struggle against Miami. It's a lot to blame. We divvied up that pie. No need to revisit that conversation. But then they come out and they play really well offensively against a Texas A&M team that's a top 5 team in the nation still to this day. And then they follow that up against Purdue and Arkansas with explosive offense. And then all of a sudden they hit this lull, because you can't go mountaintop to mountaintop. That would be beautiful if life was like that, right, Left? If the journey in life was just
Georgia
mountaintop
did
to
it.
mountaintop. Yeah,
Ohio State is currently doing it.
But Ohio State had to go through that valley of getting whooped by Georgia.
That was about 2 years ago.
Hey, does make a difference.
Yeah, don't make a difference.
That's still a valley. Valleys are in between mountaintops, bro. In order to get to the next one, you got to go through that valley. And I think this offense that had kind of peaked and got to a mountaintop has to go through this valley of inconsistency and maybe some coaching creativity that needs to go to the next level and progress a little bit further. Maybe trust a little bit more.
Or we get super conservative like Ohio State. Ohio State could score, I think, 100 points a game if they really wanted to.
Yeah, act my Illini. Really? They gave us mercy.
But I'm saying, but they're not. They're like, look, we can really press the gas on you guys, but we just gonna play it good because our defense is good. We're gonna play behind. They're choosing to play behind the defense. If they wanted to, they could be offensive led, 30, 40 points in the first half. Because the looks they're getting for offense are just like defense are panicking. Like they're just, But for us, we're not a conservative offense, so clearly we're taking a lot more chances than Ohio State. But it's giving us more of a frustration because it's like we're too good to be failing at certain things. So that's the place we're at.
Yeah. I can feel you on that. I think I'm excited about what they're going to come out with. Do you think it's more pressure on Mike Denbrock for this offense to get back to where it needs to be or take that next step? Or is it more pressure on CJ?
It's definitely more pressure on Denbrock because all these games are winnable games. They're not like all these wins we have to accumulate for the rest of the season is about style points, which goes to the coaching. And I think that's a pressure because it's hard when you win and people are not happy. Denbrock's mindset is shit. Getting the win, we're good. Like we're in there. Now I'm not quoting his mindset, but I mean college coaches majority of the time. Hell, we got to win. Sometimes I don't even care how we did it. Unfortunately, at Notre Dame, winning has to look like Arkansas every week. You can't just win a game by 10 because the criticisms are just too unrealistic. You're just like, all right, guys, it's true. It is, it's true, like some of the stuff, but it's like we won by 15, guys. We won by 35. What are we talking about? But that's the pressure because if that's the case, what's the ceiling? I mean, There's no ceiling to that. So it's always going to be unrealistic and extreme pressure because there's never good enough in that case. As opposed to, there's a top 10 win. It's an opponent you're not supposed to beat. And the players got to be a little bit more inspired, and then coaching got to be on point, but you just hoping the players overcome, but when you way better than teams, you just like, shoot. You got guys that complaining about playing time, guys that's you trying to keep on the team because y'all too good and you only need a couple players this year, that kind of thing. So that's pressure because you're trying to satisfy spoiled people.
Lucky Lefty podcast. All right, let's get to it. Breaking down film of CJ Carr. And we'll delve into this short yardage situation and what's really going on. We're going to start with the very first offensive play against USC left. And you go ahead and tell me, man, stop it, go, roll it, frame it, and I'll just let you rock. First offensive play. Let's talk about it, Left.
First offensive play, you're opening up, trying to have the linebackers bite cheese. You're trying to get Eli Raridon opened up over the middle, an area in which CJ wants to and needs to improve. We know he's good on outside the numbers and outside the hashes, but in the middle of the field is where his development is going to have to come. Denbrock draws up a nice play to fish the underneath defenders, as in the linebackers, to what we say bite the cheese. You're biting the cheese with the underneath hook defenders with Will Pauling. You get the formation sideline to get an adjustment from the defense. We motion Will Pauling over to see man or zone. We identify that as a zone because nobody traveled, which means you got a good.
We lost you, Left.
I don't know why I keep talking. Okay, can you go back a little bit?
Yeah, I can go back. You muted yourself. It was just on mute.
All right, so right here you went formation sideline. They didn't travel with the motion. You liking what you got right now? It's looking like they're going to drop the safety to the short side of the field down and give you a 3 deep 4 under look. Now with a 3 deep 4 under look, you got your two fish players with Pauling and who's that guy? Faison on the bottom, which are your first reaction reads. If it's open, throw it. You can't go broke taking a profit. CJ obviously gets off of the hook to the field, which would be Will Pauling because he probably saw 10 drop from the line of scrimmage. And because 10 dropped from the line of scrimmage, it hurried up CJ's progression, which made him too early to come to Eli Raridon, and it made him panic. So boom, we send the motion. CJ's a smart guy. He sees at his zone. Okay, I'm gonna work my progression. Said hikes the ball. Okay, pause right here. Okay, go back. Right. Play it. Right. Right there. Okay. 1 frame back. 2 frame. Okay, right there. All right. Once CJ saw 10 drop out, he assumes that it's taking away Will Pauling, which, basic quarterbacking, that's a good read. However, because he gets to it so fast, he gets off of it too fast. So all CJ has to do, if I'm coaching, if I'm Gino Gaduli, I'm like, CJ, great first read. You got off of it. Trust the offense. This is level 400 football for CJ. CJ should know I have 2 hooks and a dig coming right to me. The dig's coming to me. Me knowing that, and I'm on the hash, I don't have to look for him. I can trust with my footwork that he's going to be right down the hash on my hitch. This is why trusting your footwork matters. You take a 3 to Will Pauling. You don't like it. Your hitch is to get over the ball, which means his shoulder and everything in his eyes are going to be looking right inside the hash, down the pipe, is like we like to say. Why is that important? This is a good still shot of what he did right. Go to the next still shot. All right. So, as everybody can tell, over the football is the next read. You don't even care about what the route is. You just know that somebody should be running right in front of CJ. This is why football is beautiful. This is why CJ did half of the play right. The first half, he looked to the right. He saw the guy dropping. He got to his next read. Now, because he saw it fast, he got off it fast. Now he's looking for Eli. That's the danger. Because when you start looking with your eyes, your feet are not catching up. That's why you trust your feet, not your eyes. If he trusted his feet will put his eyes right down the hash. And trusting the offense, having 20-plus games in the same system, he's hitching and throwing the ball right now. He's hitching and throwing the ball right now. Right now. Why? Because he knows where the next progression is supposed to be. So now, because he identifies him, because he's looking for him and not trusting his feet, as you can tell in this still shot, he's behind Eli. This still shot tells you that anybody watching can say he's not going to complete it to Eli because he's looking one way and Eli is running the opposite direction, which makes him late to the throw. Play it one more time. Next frame. Next frame. So now he sees it late. So he was on the hash. He got off the hash and came back to the hash. Everybody can see how now his footwork, his body, and his throw is all separate. Now he's trying to attempt to throw this football with his arm only. And when you throw the football with your arm only and your body not in the right position, it's a hard throw. Now, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, MALIK ZAIRE, you name them. They can make throws like this. But CJ, in game 7 of his career, it would be better for him to stick to his fundamentals and trust his footwork so he's not late on an open throw. All right, you can finish the play. Because he's late, because he's late solely, you just expect bad things to happen when you try to make bad things better, right? Late, tip, potential pick. All he has to do in hindsight is just trust his feet. Catch the snap. You don't like your first reaction. Throw the football because your feet tell you to, not because you're looking for guys to throw it to.
All right, we go from the first offensive play now to first drive. They move the ball via the run, and now he has a pass out to the flat to Will Pauling. And break it down for us, Love.
If anything, we should self-scout and stop rolling CJ out the pocket, especially to his same side. His technique isn't good enough to be perfect on his technique to know that when you're throwing to the same side you're running to, you have to do a great job of being a rotational athlete because physics, trajectory, science tells you if you're running one way or your momentum is going one way, the throw or the object of what you're throwing is probably going to travel the same way. So you have to fight against kinetic energy, which is hard when you're looking at something so easy because you're like, oh, this is a 3-4 yard throw. But the thing is, when you're running to the same side and you don't rotate, you run into the problem again of throwing all arm. You have to be technically sound as a quarterback because plays like this can be impactful and everybody blame you because everybody thinks this is easy. It's easy if your technique is boringly really good. You can't get lazy on good throws. These are layups, and his timing's right. This is a 5-step, let it go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let it go. He let it go on time, but he didn't rotate. You have to rotate. That's the only way that you're going to keep the football going straight as you're running away from it. Or the other thing CJ can do is start pushing his momentum and running downhill, attacking the line of scrimmage. When you attack the line of scrimmage, your shoulders are more square and it's easier to throw the football to your target than running away from your target.
Eventually, right there, Notre Dame would score to make it a 7-3 football game in their favor. USC would go right down the field and make it 10-7. And then Notre Dame comes right out, and CJ gets a nice completion here. One of his go-to plays, you say, in this offense, left a nice completion to Jordan Faison on the second drive.
This is CJ's bread and butter, the open field outside the hash, quote unquote NFL throws. He throws it on time. There's no underneath defender. He can show off his arm. This is why everybody loves CJ right here. This is a free access throw. You got some run game action to influence the defense, get him on the boot without, any hassle. And it's just a routine drill work throw. This is what they do every day in practice. That's why it looks so, precise. They're comfortable with it. And more of this should happen.
Yeah, I like this out of 12 personnel. Like I said, they motion both of the tight ends. Then they motion Ty Washington back. And like you said, this is his bread and butter. He's been hitting this free access throw all year long very accurately. Faison has been a recipient more than not. And this is just how you get him back in rhythm. You could tell after some of the things he missed on the first drive, this is his get back in rhythm call from Mike Denbrock because he does it really well.
How do I get my quarterback back in the motion of things? Give him something he can build his confidence with. He loves this kind of throw. Really good to see.
And it's something you said when we were prepping for the show, Love. You were talking about how he's really comfortable 15 yards and more down the field. He's really comfortable with those shots. It's the intermediate, it's the smaller shots to the flat, 15 and under, where being technically sound and consistent in your technique is going to have to come into play for him to take that next step as a quarterback.
Yeah, in games that matter, stuff like that's going to be bigger impact in the game. We saw it versus Miami. We saw it versus Texas A&M, with some of the panic that he had that led to a turnover in Texas A&M where he could have ran, but he was doing too much. So, like I said, and these are things he smooths out in games like this, where games like this he has to play perfect to leave room for potential mistakes in games that matter, if that makes sense.
We continue on this drive once again. Second drive of the game. They're trailing 10-7 at this point, and it's 3rd and 7. And this is a play where I can't wait to hear you talk about this play because you were fired up watching this play at prep. 3rd and 7 situation. They send out Jeremiah Love, and and this is
okay. Now this is where we have, obviously as a quarterback, you want to take accountability, but this is as a quarterback, you have to be on your teammates as well. This is where the asshole is acceptable when you're dealing with your teammates, because this is lazy. Now, why I call this lazy, it's not all on CJ. Obviously, if he's open and you're the first round pick by Dan Orlovsky, you're supposed to make that happen. Now, what can help this is Eli Raridan's very lackadaisical play. Now we see the play from the copy right here. He's running an out route. An out route, for those who know or may not know football, is 5 yards, but 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. So if we do math, the line of scrimmage is 0. Right now, Eli is -2. Now, if I did 5 minus 2, that gives me 3. And that right there is not a great route by Eli Raridan, because it not only shortens the route and timing for CJ, but it closes the space in which he has to throw the football to. Eli Raridan, I say, is lazy is because, first of all, knowing that your route is 5 yards, you took the easy way out and not extending the route 2 extra yards, considering you're behind the football. And this is something that CJ, as he gains experience and, sees this stuff in practice, you got to be on your guys. Hey, dude, you behind the line. You need to run it again, get to depth, and break out. Because if he gets to depth and break out, he can potentially sell the linebacker vertical, which gives him a better chance of breaking out and a bigger window to throw the football. I mean, my goodness, Eli Raridan, you're not Will Pauling. You're not Jordan Faison. You are 6'7", 200 and something pounds. This is a physical sport in a physical position, and you're a physical player. 18 is already inside of you. He's inside of you. So you racing away from a guy that you are beating in leverage before the snap is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because it says that either it's ridiculous because it says that you're either lazy because you want to get to the spot, or you're not physical because you don't want to use 6'7", 280 to make contact with the linebacker. So it's not all CJ's fault, because you're already to the short side of the field and he's throwing the out route. So, not great. Secondly, if he gets to depth, which is what would be a 7-yard route, you can be physical enough to now give CJ space. Right now, it's just a hard angle to throw the football. You got guys in your face. He's not at depth, so CJ probably can't even see it for real. And then he's cutting off the route. So by the time Eli Raridan looks up, he's an inch from the sideline. Just a bad communicated route and throw. And it's just something you move on. This is a wasted down, unnecessary. If anything, CJ does his best to complete it, but he needs other players to do their job as well. It's not a bad read. Maybe when he gets a little bit older, he gets off of that read to try to save the play. But Denbrock's not going to be too upset shouldn't be too upset at CJ for it.
All right, Lucky Lefty Podcast. We're continuing to break down the small things that CJ Carr needs to improve from the technical side to make sure that he continues to elevate his game in this Notre Dame offense. We go to the third drive. That once again, defense. We talk about the last four drives for the defense where they closed. This 10-7 game, where the offense for Notre Dame in the second quarter, into the first, into the second quarter, struggled. Notre Dame came up with 2 stops that were very important because USC could have extended the lead to 17-7. I just want to throw that in there. So we finally get to this next drive, and this is once again, you talked about him rolling out. He's a little bit better rolling out to his left, or at least he was against USC, than he was to his right. You talked about his miss early in the game, and so now here's a completion to Jordan Faison. once again, these are just bread and butter types. The comeback routes, in NFL
Yeah, this
throws.
is a Denbrock special, a choice route. It's all day. I mean, this is
Yeah,
what all these are where Tyler Horka gets his tweets from. The
yeah. I
plays,
apologize because this wasn't the play where he rolled out. Let's go ahead. It was
right?
just
But
another comeback.
these are the Tyler Horka specials on X. These NFL quote unquote throws, wide open, no underneath presence. It's all day.
Yeah, we saw him complete one like this, pretty much to get him back in rhythm. This is one of his rhythm throws, whether it's with the play action, the soft bootleg to the right, the first time they ran it, and this one is just a straight drop back. Jordan Faison runs another comeback, gets some yak, and they're on the move. This is his comfort throw. Man, he's comfortable doing that. So eventually they get down into the red zone, and this is where they get to the red zone in this drive. And they score a touchdown to go up 14-10. They get the ball back. They move the ball back down the field. They have a chance to extend the lead. And these three plays left, because we're going to take a little detour off of CJ Carr lane. And we're going to kind of go on to Mike Denbrock lane a little bit before we return back to CJ. These three plays, left almost lost it just on the steal shot. First and goal, they've just gotten the ball down to the 2-yard line on a big run by Jeremiah Love. And here's the first play on first down. And left just about lost it just from the steal shot.
Yeah, I just don't love it. It's just you got a one man in the box. We just make things too hard sometimes.
So we're going to run it. And as you can see, Eric Gentry flies in, makes the tackle on Jeremiah Love. And left, you explained it. You've been in this offense. You ran this offense. Once again, you were kind of confused as to why Eli Raridan just allowed the free runner from outside his shoulder on this play. It should have been an automatic, I think, in this Mike Denbrock offense, as you remembered it. And like you said, with CJ not
Yeah,
being
like
a go ahead. You can
CJ not being a threat, it just defeats the the essence of why you're calling the play. You're hoping that they respect the quarterback as a run threat to slow the guy down. Well, CJ gets out of there, which defeats the effect of the imaginary or ghost pseudo blocker in a sense where you're an active player too. You have to remain a threat even if you're the quarterback and don't have the ball. Carrying out ball fakes is critical in this offense because he loves to read option and that plays off of that. So these defenders the last 7 weeks are like, man, CJ ain't a threat to us. Even if he is, he's not. So they haven't seen it on film either, which these guys are just coming off the ball flying ineffective, just coming off free. They're not even hesitating thinking CJ can carry it. So it just makes it when you're watching the game, it just makes it a ridiculous call. You're like, dude, why would you call that? Because defensively, it's no advantage in this play for us. If CJ is not a threat running the ball, it's just not an advantage type of play. Now, last year, you run this all day because the defensive end is in, or that end man on the line of scrimmage is in torture, considering he don't know if Riley's going to get it or one of the two best backs in the nation. Now it's like only the running back can get it. I'm not worried about CJ. And if he rolls out, I mean, he hasn't been even a threat on rollouts, which is defeating two of the three or one of the three options on those plays. So this right here is just it's unfair to ourselves because we're short a man considering our quarterback isn't a threat running the football here. And even with play design, if you make a stay call, which means Eli Raridon doesn't insert himself, he just plays the man on man, which is the man outside of him, and then everybody plays their man to the linebacker. But it's just for us to be so good moving the football, this is I just think a dud of a play call.
So the thing is, when you told me, like, you've quarterback with Mike Denbrock in this similar situation, you said the offense should have an automatic with the tight end if someone is outside of him, which Eric Gentry is outside of Eli Raridon. Instead of going to the double team on the defensive end, he slows down the linebacker coming from the outside. And if he does that on this play, as much as we sit here and say, man, they got to do something about short yardage, if he simply just slows him a little bit, right? Which
once that happens, I would also flip Jeremiah Love to then give you the one-on-one with that free guy opposite, right?
Opposite. So, yeah.
I would tell Eli to stay, flip Jeremiah Love, and keep the same run, but just read the end man on line of scrimmage. But even then, you considering if they keep it this way, 74 messed up because 74 either stepping the wrong way or whatever he's doing. If they're adjusting to what this is, the tight end stays, that means everybody should just block their man down. So 54 would have the free rusher, 74 would have the guy 54 is blocking. Everybody would turn to a one-on-one block, essentially. So one of two things should happen. Eli Raridon stays, they all keep the same play on, and they just bump a man down, which covers everybody, and you go one-on-one with 23. That's the play working executed at its highest. In this situation here, you don't call it, so now you have two free edge rushers, and the play happens like this. You get hit from both sides. That's a bad play design unless you have, a game manager where he's like, okay, two off the edge, everybody man up, because why would you double when everybody could get him? It's stupid. So in a situation like that, in hindsight, CJ should see it as a man. Everybody gets their man block. No faxing, none of that stuff, and we just go one-on-one with the linebacker. That's an adjustment. That's something that I wouldn't call, but then CJ would have to manage as he gets older.
Yo, second down might be worse than first down. Let's go to man.
So now it's just psychology of it. It's like, okay, if I'm thinking defense, first down, I stopped the best back in America. We caught them on a double blitz. They didn't adjust. If I'm defensive coordinator, I'm thinking they're probably thinking they can run it again. So let me get to a straight run defense. But then offensively, look at, like, what is this? Are we kicking a field goal? Is a field goal team out there? No, no type of I'm not a fan of pulling guys on the 1 yard line. I just on inside of our 5, right? I'm just not a fan of pulling guys at like tight ends and stuff inside of the 5, only because look at what you're doing. You know what I mean? It would have to hit so tight if you're pulling, you have no room for error, and it's a super heavy collision, and I don't think these guys is getting paid enough for that. But in this situation right here, I think this is us panicking and being a little desperate and being a little arrogant, thinking like, okay, well, we're just gonna it's one thing to be straightforward, but this is like trying to force a square into a triangle, right? This is what this is. So because it's such a blatant, we're trying to push this in because we're desperate and not calling no good calls, it shouldn't work. You know what I mean? Like it's too desperate of a call that it shouldn't work. And I'm glad it didn't because this is stupid. You know, not a fan. There's too much going on for it to be on the 2-yard line. Why is all that? You know, it's just be everybody hat on the hat downhill. You got a guy pulling, you got a double team. On the 2-yard line, it's too much action. Sometimes you just got to put your hand in the dirt and say, I'm better than you. On the 1-yard line, I'm going to push you back. All this action just creates cluster. There's no running lanes on the 1-yard line. It should be a we push you, it's a tug of war situation, not a let's get super technical and creative with blocks and pulls and double teams on the 1-yard line. I mean, come on. That's half the problem. You make it so complicated that you don't have plays developing like that on the 1 because everybody's thinking is run. So they're playing fits. They're just like, we're smash mouth football. There's no coaching in this. So we're trying to overcoach something that shouldn't even be coached. It should be line up. We're running straight. There is no pools. There's no fake calls. It's just straight ahead. We're trying to coach our way in the end zone on the 1. And that's not good football when you have too good of a team to do that.
Man, look, this next play, you know what? This is why I'm Denver. This, my opinion, if you don't put your young quarterback in this situation, I understand a mistake. He has to own it. It was awful. Awful, just so many bad decisions by CJ Carr on this play. Multiple bad decisions. But once again, the bad design on play 1, the bad design on play 2, and here on 3rd down, 3rd and goal, you end up with this. Thankfully, it didn't end up costing them the game, but this is supposed to be a double-digit lead. You get down to the 2-yard line,
this
first
is like
goal.
Watching us down here is like hiring a rocket scientist to fix a light bulb. It's like, dude, just screw the light bulb in. You trying to break it down chemically, scientifically, trying to trick them. And this is a result of panic and frustration because this is just silly. You know, it's like you can't get in on the 1, so you're doing anything and everything, and you just make a terrible decision because this is forcing the football. It's 4th down or 3rd down?
3rd and 2. 3rd and goal from the 2.
3rd and goal.
Yeah.
You're on the 2. You know, I think this is CJ trying to make something happen because he's frustrated that they can't get a push. Some of this is play calling. Most of this is CJ because, you know, if it's me and it's a BS call like this, I'm just going to throw it out of bounds and look into the sideline and be like, do something better. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is crazy. Now, CJ doesn't have the athleticism to do this at an elite level. So in moments like this, he needs to play within himself and be like, look, just dead to play. Blame it on the coach if you got to. Move on. Because you can never go broke taking a profit. And the arrogance that we have to continue to try to go for it on short yardage, I think we just take the points. Just take the points. Tell CJ, look, we take 3 if we got to. Because this is ridiculous. Because now it's going from leaving too many points on the field to now we're making mistakes. It's one thing to leave a couple points, but this is blatant negligence of a team that's too good to be doing this. Once again, you're doing too much cute stuff to be on the 2-yard line. That's not the type of creativity we're talking about. And as a comparison, you watch the NFL, you watch any other college football team, they're doing simple stuff. Like same formation and then just tossing it to the tight end and everybody just pushing in. Like it's too many simple things that you're seeing as examples to look like this on 3rd and 2 on the goal line. The other thing
was something else you pointed out about Eli Raridon when we were doing this in prep.
Yeah. Before I get to that, one coaching point also is that we have to challenge the back end of the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 plays, their deepest player is standing on the goal line. So what kind of threat are we posing when we're not even taking advantage of all the space behind them? Oh my God! Like, the defense is playing top down on the goal line. Think about that, meaning that we have
So
no
if
threat
you
beyond
say
the
that,
goal.
Left, they have Matt Jeffrey in the tight end position, or he comes back in. Of course, they motion him back in
Yeah,
the wide receiver
ridiculous.
position. But if he's blocking, then why isn't he delaying going to the back of the end zone in the same direction or giving CJ another option in the back? I
Yeah,
understand. So I
Simmons.
totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, we're
And
not
you
we're
got
not giving CJ enough options to be doing this to him. And secondly, Eli Raridan. This unfortunate that these plays keep highlighting his egregious mistakes. But Eli Raridan, this is 3rd and goal on the 2-yard line. You're the primary read on the play, meaning this play is meant for if everything goes right, you should be catching the ball and walking in the end zone. Matter of fact, catching it in the end zone. Having the tight end IQ and being 6'7", 295 pounds, you should be
he's
thinking,
not
hey, I
dude.
am
First of all,
the biggest,
you had us.
strongest, fastest dude on the field and the shortest space to get a touchdown. I am not Jordan
Oh
Faison.
man.
I am not Will Pauling. I'm not the number 33 to walk on receiver. I am the biggest dude out here, which means anything impeding my way, I am making contact with to get out of my way because I have to be aware that the play is coming to me and it's supposed to be a touchdown. So if my angle of departure is not ending myself in the end zone, I'm doing a disservice to the team. This is egregious just from the steal shot alone because it tells you that this guy, Eli Raridan, was never thinking about getting in the end zone. Look at his head. His head isn't looking for the touchdown or the pylon or how to get vertical. He's looking to just run straight. Mind you, this is the short side of the field. So how fast can you really get there to? Then, because you have no awareness and no understanding of defense, you forget that you start looking before you even know who's even guarding you. This is egregious. How can you possibly be looking for the quarterback right now when you don't even know that the man guarding you is not even affected by the play? You don't even know that you're supposed to identify what the defense is. Therefore, you can make the play successful. You're just running the play like they drew it up on the steel chalkboard with no moving pieces. Not mentioning the fact that you're running a route that's supposed to be a touchdown, which is only 2 yards above the line of scrimmage. You're 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, looking for the ball. So bad to where CJ can almost lateral it to you, where this can almost turn into a speed option, where you're the pitch man. This is egregious. This is bad tight end play because in this steal shot, even if he shovels it to you, this is a negative play already. If he was aware of what the call was, the down and distance, the situation, the defense, awareness to what's going on, being awareness of his own size and strength, he would know, okay, 18's got me. So if you go back to the beginning, okay, they're running man. Why do I know they're running man? Because nobody's deeper than the goal line. Nobody's deeper than the ref. Nobody's deeper than the ref. Another thing, we get no push. Now, if we're selling a run, then we need to be pushing the pile. We don't push. Eli doesn't push. He just runs it based off what the defense gave him, which is lazy. Look how close we are to the end zone right here. And look how far Eli Raridon is when he starts looking for the ball. This is crazy. This is crazy. Look how close we are to the end zone. And when he gets out of the fake, look how far he is from the line of scrimmage.
So what you're saying is just run that dude, wait a minute. Are you saying he should just run through the USC defender right here to keep the angle
Eli
to the
Raridon
pylon?
right here, being 6'7", 299 pounds.
You keep adding weight to this. He's going to be 300 the next time.
He needs to know that, first of all, this guy that's standing there is a cone, is a two-way go. And because you that big, you don't care if he puts hands on you. So what? Because guess what? If he puts hands on you and tries to tackle you, hold you, ride you, whatever, and you're running to get to the end zone, you're running to get to the pylon, you're running because you're physical and you 6'7", 300, you're going to take the defensive end with you, and CJ can just walk in the end zone. He can just walk in because you'll take the DN, you'll take 14, and you'll take the inside. It just calls a traffic jam because you'll understand what the play is for. If I'm him, I'm saying, hey, I'm getting inside of this guy, this defensive end. So now the defense has to make a decision. Is the defense end going to think I'm blocking him? Is he going to try to hold me up? Because if he does that, guess what? They lose contain. They lose contain, right? Just like that. If he does anything to Eli Raridon and Eli Raridon goes inside of him, understanding that I have to get depth. If I just run straight, I'm not going to get anywhere near the end zone. I have to get depth, which means I have to get through the defender. I have to play football. Then one or two things are going to happen. He's going to get turned around like a top, or CJ is going to be able to pull him further out by gaining depth on his drop, putting him in no man's land, giving Eli Raridon space to get in a race to the pylon, because look at where Eli Raridon's man is. Yeah, nowhere to be found. And you know what will make it harder is if Eli Raridon gets depth. If he doesn't get depth like this, anybody can go get him. That's drill work. Unaffected, unabated, straight to the guy. He can make a play 3 yards above the goal line. Because Eli Raridon didn't sell the block, it's supposed to be a slip. Like, oops, you thought, oops, I'm supposed to slip inside. Oops. You just running. And then you running in no man's land. So even if you outrace the defense, he gains leverage on you and you're 4 yards from the touch. It's just stupid. The play is meant for him to slip inside to cause a traffic jam or to get CJ an easy path to the end zone. The corner has his back turned. No chance. No chance. Eli Raridon doesn't do his job because he's lazy. The defensive end plays both Eli Raridon and the quarterback. CJ's not athletic. So CJ's dead in the water. Eli's dead in the water. The guy running to the back of the end zone is dead in the water. And there's no options. You got a puddle, a traffic jam from the play fake. These are where Denbrock, in the years of a Riley Leonard, a Malik Zaire, a more agile kind of guy, this is fine because I'll make a guy miss, or we'll throw it up to a dude or whatever. But you got three of the most unathletic options out of the vast amount of options on your offense trying to get the football here. Now, if you had to pick the 3 people to touch the football potentially on a momentous play like this, I
MALIK
guarantee
Fields should be running a route.
Malachi Field should be in there. Will Pauling, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Jordan Faison. I mean, the list goes on. The last 3 people on the list would be CJ, Eli Raridan, and whoever 87 is. At the same time, what do they always say? On plays that are mattering in the game, do what? Get the ball to your best players. Period. I don't care what you call. The play has to be involved getting the best options on your team the football. These 3 options in this still shot are the 3 worst options on the biggest play of the game that matters. Who should be getting it? I mean, what are we doing? So you telling me
Cooper Flanagan literally is just coming back from injury.
You telling me on 3rd down and 2, the best options of the best people we have to go to is CJ Carr in the open field, Eli Raridan 4 yards from the goal line with a guy blazing downhill, and Cooper Flanagan man-to-man guarded, no room for mistake throws in the back of the end zone, and you're moving to the opposite handed of CJ. Like, this is like, what are we doing? This might be the worst call to make on 3rd down when it matters, because this is
Bless you, man.
no, bless the offense, because this is terrible. This is why you blame Denbrock. This is a Denbrock mistake right here, because on 3rd and 2, before we just the play call itself, if Jadarian, Jeremiah, hell, Aeneas Williams, Malachi Fields, Will Pauling, Jordan Faison, if none of those are touching the last play, then I'm doing something wrong. Denbrock should have known before he called this play, I'm doing something wrong if my only 3 options are my 2 tight ends and my quarterback that's unathletic. In a man situation, let's talk about that. Denbrock knows they're going to potentially most likely play man. And so you think your 3 best man beaters are Eli Raridan, Cooper Flanagan, and CJ Carr? Those are your 3 best man beating players? So that's where I fault Denbrock, because dude, that's atrocious.
Yeah, that right there.
I would have blamed the players more if it was anybody else touching the football. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, dude, you're a best player. We paying you X amount of dollars. You can't get 2 yards. That's a different conversation than, dude, you didn't even give them a chance, you know?
Yeah. All right. So now we're done with that series. And we go to Notre Dame being up 14-13. And I think I hit the wrong clip. Sorry about that. Notre Dame's up 14-13. And once again, here it is. DJ rolls out, hits Faison.
Yeah.
Just a simple throw. Get him back in rhythm. Just like he said, he was a little bit off. He rotated a little bit better, going to his offside a little bit there, Love.
Yeah, I mean, this bread and butter, no underneath defender, guys in no man's land, easy little catch and throw. This is actually called Eagle. I'm sorry. This play is actually called Falcon, where the outside guy has an itch and the inside guy has a corner. So this will be Larry Falcon.
That's
good old
funny.
Denbrock call. Larry Falcon, real easy. Roll left. Your first read is the wide hitch, the widened hitch. The corner bites. You got your corner with a bunch of space. This is a no-brainer day 1 install, first day of fall camp play that you rep 5 million times. It's a no-brainer. Easy call to make.
All right, once again, you go from that. They're up 14-13, continuing to drive, and he misses Malachi Fields right here on this particular play as they get down close into the red zone.
This
Takes
is
the
more.
shot.
This is more of a spot throw. The number one thing he did wrong was throw it out of bounds. So that's the biggest, most egregious, most can't no excuse for. You can't even coach this point because you threw the ball out of bounds. I mean, what the?
Well, he was kind of late because of the hitch. I don't know why he double hitches right here.
Can you play in the other copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Good read. Safety goes away. You get your one-on-one. Just keep it in bounds. I mean, give the guy a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is your number one route that you throw. Your number one receiver you throw into. I would just expect the chemistry to be better than this, even if you double pump, because you're just throwing it to him. I mean, let's be serious. I don't think that this corner with a good ball would have had a chance. So that chemistry.
Oh, good ball. It's a touchdown. Yeah, it's a
That's what I'm
touchdown.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Just the chemistry just needs to be better because these are plays against better teams that we just need to have, considering we're not doing a great job of short yardage. These are the plays that should be like drinking water in the morning, nice and easy, no thought to it. CJ's doing half the things right, and that's just the truth of the matter. He got the right read, bad throw. I mean, that's 50-50. You know what I mean? So that's not harsh. It's very objective, but it's the truth because of what it means to the bigger picture and when it matters most. These aren't acceptable plays.
You know what the good thing that I hear you say consistently about CJ? He immediately makes the right read. It's very rare I've heard you critique CJ where you said that's the wrong read, CJ. Even on his misses, you say, you know what? He goes to the right read first, and you might get into bad footwork and other things, but at the snap, his first read, which means his pre-snap read to his post-snap read, vast majority of the time is the right thing. And like you said, he reads immediately. I got one-on-one with my guy up top. He just doesn't execute the throw. So
yeah, so it just shows that he can definitely grow. It's just things that he will gain over time through experience, like trust and chemistry and the connection with Denbrock and situational football where he may be like, hey, call a timeout, Denbrock, give me something better. I mean, that's true mastery of football and being an intelligent quarterback. And if you're a great risk manager, that makes you a super intelligent, you're all about the between the ears, that whole compliment thing. That's what it means something. Don't be telling me he's super smart and dialed in and making mistakes that are like, dude, that's not super smartness. Super smartness is Denbrock giving you the worst two options on 3rd and 2, and you having the knowledge to make the play work or better or change it or get out of that shit or whatever. That's a smart quarterback. Him just going through the motions of progressing, that's just a good quarterback that's on the cusp of, do you make the jump? I mean, 99% of quarterbacks can play like that in this kind of offense, but that jump is checking out of plays. The jump is hitting all the easy stuff. The jump is that play that he had on the goal line to MALIK Field. That's automatic. That's all. That's just no brainer. You messed up even choosing that defense because we're gonna punish you every time. Like that's where the jump needs to happen for CJ in my mind to be this greatest quarterback of Notre Dame history, which is a hard thing to do, but he's in the position for it considering we have the team to do it with. We had it last year, we just didn't have the talent to. But man, it's all good.
Same drive, we go to third down, and he hits Will Pauling to make it a 21-13 game. Pretty good throw, tight throw.
Once again, if you go back to the beginning of the play, this is just where I would just challenge our offense and Denbrock to challenge other teams. There is so much space in the back of the end zone. And everything we do is in front of the goal line. Everything we do is in front of the goal line unless we throw in a fade. This right here, I would be salivating as a play caller because I'm like, there's nobody back there. Even the slant to Will Pauling is ridiculously open. Like, this is – so I would just challenge them to just continue to try to find ways to use the space in the end zone, use the back line, get some crossers in the back, create depth in the red zone. We're literally playing 5-yard offense. Like the goal, we're treating the goal line like the pie line like the back line. So that's where I would – because it's hard to – if you're playing 5 yards of offense, it's not too many calls you got. If everything is in front of the pylon, it's not too many calls you got. So extend that thing, get that thing back there and challenge the defense because right now there's nobody but the ref, and he ain't playing defense.
Let it go.
Yeah, I mean, that's all day.
It was a good throw. That was a good throw. Because I can't even say the route was the best.
It don't need to be the best. He just need to get behind 23, 21, just dump it over the top. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's, this is day one stuff, man. I mean, come on. Like, we can overanalyze it and talk about how great the throw was, but he was wide open. I mean, come on, man. We should be mad if it's not a completion. That's the reaction it should be. It should,
Yeah. Now we go to what everyone has been clamoring for, wondering if we were going to show it. And left, they get down once again an opportunity to stretch the lead out from 27-24 to 34-24. First down, difficulty inside the 5, and then Denbrock just goes, forget it. Just go back to what we did last year. And this is what they ended up getting. On the 5.
Yeah, this is just Denbrock's identity, man. Like, he just can't help himself but call his bread and butter as an offensive coordinator. And, everybody glorifies and talks about the quarterback being a tough challenge for a defense when he's running a football. It's an age-old adage, and it's still true in Denbrock's philosophy on offense. And
Can I show how you, Deshaun, Riley Leonard score on this play? Can I just show
every
time score on this play? Watch this. Because CJ does a good job. I think he gets 4.5 yards, gets down to like the half-yard line. You run the play. I'll get right here. At that point,
he's giving up, though. Like, CJ's already giving up on the run because he's like, I'm bracing for a hit. I'm not even looking for the end zone. I'm going to just run my feet and close my eyes. Unfortunately, that works in high school. That works, low-level stuff. But the picture changes. You better keep your, keep your head up because I don't think you need to live in the world of I'm Riley Leonard, duck my head because I'm super close. So if I run my feet, I'm going to fall for it. No. You will get clapped. You need to be head up. Yes, the hole's open, but keep your head on the swivel Because that's just the offense you running. You need to be able to do that. That needs to be a requirement under Denbrock. That's a run. That's a bread and butter call. He's expecting you to get in there, dip your head down. I'm getting jiggy. I ain't taking no stupid hit like that. I ain't doing that. But I ain't
jiggy.
I gotta get jiggy on that. Matter of fact, we go to my spring game. I got jiggy on the same play, the same exact play. Didn't get touched. Now this, and that's the danger of doing this kind of stuff, is that you get relaxed because you don't run the ball enough. So you think, 2 yards, they're gonna let me in. No, they still gonna hit you. What you mean? Like, you gotta be like, that little hit right there probably could have gave him a concussion for real. Like,
and as you could tell, when they ran up to him, CJ was like, no.
Yeah, he got
Don't hit me on the helmet, no celebration. Like,
but that's why you have to challenge yourself, because that same situation in a better game could be a fumble, could hurt your dude, hurt your quarterback. All type of stuff can happen because he'll never be comfortable running that. That's why I'm just like, he's not the guy to be. You need to get creative to help him, because he ain't gonna get no better at that play. Like, that's not a play he's gonna warm up to and be like, yeah, coach, call that. Like, take the red jersey off me, coach. Like, that's not CJ. That's CJ's like, please keep the red on the whole time. Can we wear it in the game? Like, he ain't trying to get hit. So because that's the case, Denbrock has to be creative enough not to send him to receiver or jump to running back so we can direct. No, be creative enough to have a real play call. You know what I mean? Like, you can still call some crossers and some stuff you can call some offense. Like, quit making it like this is all we got. Because some teams gonna punish us for it. Some teams gonna want us to call it like this just so they can hit CJ. You know what I mean? They're like, please get desperate and just let us take a free shot on CJ and just bust him up. Like, because this, CJ's just, he thinking it's sweet. Oh, I'm about to jump over the line. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Man, so for CJ in those situations, please keep your head up. It's better to get hit with your head up than you duck your head like you Jerome Bettis trying to like get. That's not your game, and it's not a quarterback game in general. Because, dude, all it takes is just one shot, one dude to lay on you. You relax because you think you in, and they'll dust you. I mean, we done seen some quarterbacks get dusted the last weekend. We done seen the Florida State dude give himself up and get that was crazy. Justin Fields thought it was sweet, giving himself up.
Man.
So, yeah, CJ, you can tell dudes are head hunting for quarterbacks. So don't think it's sweet like you can just duck your head like they're going to get – you're not Scatterbo. Scatterbo duck his head, guys are like, all right, let him, I ain't finna – but you're not punishing guys like that. They're trying to punish you. So when you duck your head, you're gonna meet some helmets. That's just what it is. Because we're running quarterback power. There ain't no room for you to. I don't know. It's crazy.
So that's Malik's film breakdown of CJ Carr. Let me tell you something. He is extremely talented. The arm strength, everything they say, he can make the NFL throws. That's without question. He's a young man, 7 games into his first year as a starter. There's no way he's going to be the guy that can carry a team right now, nor should we expect him to, nor should he be asked to with the run game that we have.
That's
but as you've been saying, Left, especially if they continue this run and get into the playoffs, there's going to come a time where that throw he missed to MALIK Fields one-on-one with his big 6'5" receiver, you cannot be off target. You have to give him a chance to make that play.
Yeah, that's the stuff that gets you in New York. That's the stuff that gets you in New York, and it can be excused and looked by because we're winning by double digits. But in games that matter, those are the throws we're gonna look back to and be like, well, you was doing it this long and it was never addressed, right? So that's how you get better, is challenging yourself in season with stuff like that. Because I'm telling you, it's gonna come up again in a better game. And throwing it out of bounds is just not acceptable. Like that's what makes coaches mad, because you like, well, damn, we ain't even get a chance. Not that throwing a pick is better, but it's like, dude, that's just he's Tobias Merriweather, 6'5" guy out there. Like, the last thing you do is throw it out of bounds.
Yeah. So great insight. He's the best in the business. Like I said, no one gives you better breakdown, whether it's prophetic or talking about the present or what has been done. No one breaks the quarterback position at Notre Dame down better than Lucky Lefty himself. Go over to FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Right now, CJ Carr lost a little bit of steam when it comes to winning the Heisman. He's at plus 5,000. Jeremiah Love sits at plus 2,000 over at FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app. And he is the highest non-quarterback right now as far as betting odds at plus 2,000. He has 7 quarterbacks in front of him who have better odds. 7 quarterbacks in front of him that have better odds to win the Heisman. And it's Jeremiah Love after them, Jeremiah Smith after Jeremiah Love, and then CJ Carr come in. He actually has better odds than Carson Beck and Haynes King. Haynes King, I'm sorry, man. That dude carries Georgia Tech on his back every week, every darn week.
The quarterback scatterbo.
And yes, and he gets up after every play as if he has been carrying the Georgia Tech offense, literally. We had one GTB, I think it was Indy Milk fan, being who he is always. Indy Milk fan, we appreciate you, my guy. What level quarterback is CJ? 100, 200, etc. And what was Riley?
Oh my goodness, CJ. CJ's.
CJ's
he's one of those young freshmen in AP classes and stuff, where it's like, oh, okay, he in the big boys class and everything,
Yeah.
But is he acing the level 400 stuff? No, but it's impressive that he's young in a class with all the seniors,
Yeah. I think the
Riley,
one thing I've learned.
Riley was just that old dude that was cool, but he just stuck around school for a long time. He was one of them double holdbacks. So he was driving his freshman year, So he's good through attrition.
We had a GTV question from Jay Grizz. Who was the last player with 2 losses on his team's record to win the Heisman? Travis last year.
Yeah. They had like 3 losses.
I think they had 4. I think they had 4, didn't they? Or maybe the 4th came against BYU in the bowl game after he won. But yeah, Travis T. Hunt, the last player to win the Heisman for a team with more than 2 losses. Lucky Lefty podcast. So thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to jump into the run game and what has changed defensively. What has changed defensively? Like, what has changed? Has it been Chris Ash? Have they changed the calls? Or are these players just making better plays, man? We're really digging in this week into what Notre Dame has become and what they still have to clean up and how they're going to get better. One of the things I said yesterday, even offensively left, they're still 7th in the nation at 39.1 points per game. Yards per game, they're 14th at 464.9. Points per play, they're number 5 in the nation at 0.594. That's even after the USC game. And really after 3 straight weeks of leaving points on the field. They're still 5th in the nation at points per play. Yards per play, 8th in the nation at 7.1. They dropped a little bit in that area. They were up to like 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And then third down conversion, they're 23rd at 46.15%. But this is the stat that we're really going to talk about tomorrow. That you guys, the last time, it's been a decade at least since Notre Dame for a season has held teams under 100 yards rushing per game. As they sit today, Notre Dame ranks 17th in the nation, giving up 100.3 yards per game on the ground. 100.3 yards per game on the ground. The last time Notre Dame was able to hold teams under 100 yards per game on the ground was over a decade ago, if I'm not mistaken. I Bleav that is the stat. That is absolutely incredible. And so I think they jump under when they face Boston College, because right now Boston College is only averaging 3.5 yards on the ground. They're 111th in the nation.
Wow.
And they're averaging 100 yards per game.
Wow.
And I think Notre Dame holds them under 100 and gets under 100 yards per game on the season. I think it happens and the trend continues. I think they can settle in probably at around 96, 97 by the end of the year comes. This turnaround of this rush, especially the way Miami pushed them around in the run game from a yardage and time of possession standpoint. They did a good job against Miami, yards per run. They held them under 4 yards. But, when we needed to stop the most, they kind of got pushed around a little bit and gave up some big-time runs. We appreciate it, ND for life. We appreciate that, man. The other stat that I think is super dope, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow. We know what they were able to do on the ground against USC, but we want to tip our cap to the offensive line because the Notre Dame running backs averaged 2.9 yards before contact against USC. They averaged 2.9 yards before contact against USC. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It means they were averaging 5+ after contact. 2.9 before contact. Kudos to the offensive line, and then 5 yards after contact. Tip your cap to the running backs. Just an out-and-out domination of USC. Out-and-out domination. All right? So for Left, SD2 Mics, you all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Continue to love each other. And as always, we are the home of the misguided passion. And we want you, like we are, to forever be committed to making sure that you spin it different. We'll see you tomorrow.